Hey yo, Hungry Heather again, and today I'm going to show you how I make pork rind tortillas. Because many of y'all know I'm from Texas, so tacos are life. So when I started doing keto, I had to give up all bread, which means tortillas. So I went on the Googles and looking for a replacement tortilla, and I stumbled across this recipe. I kind of changed it up a little bit, do my own thing, but I'm gonna put a link to it down at the bottom to get my the author the proper credit for it. So let's get started, I guess. So for this recipe, we're gonna need some shredded mozzarella cheese, cream cheese, 1 egg, and some pork rinds. And I always try and find the cleanest ones I can. I love this brand because they're really cheap. They're from my local HEB, and they're just pork rinds. Let's get started. So first thing we're gonna do is to grab a block of mozzarella cheese. I gotta cut it up and run it in through the food processor to shred it up. And let's do that now. So what I do is first is I chopped up that block of cheese. I had cut it down to make it fit in my processor. We just put it in there, and then I just run it. So now I need to empty the hopper from the processor. And now this recipe, the cheese and everything I'm making is actually more than what the recipe calls for. I just figured I'm already set up doing this, so let's just shred the whole block. So then I just mix this off into a container for use on later uses. And then I can never get all of this out. So what I'm going to do is shred the pork rinds right into the same hopper. And it's going to get the cheese and the pork rinds all mixed together. So then what I'll do is I have this little container here. It's leftovers from a couple Christmas ago. And I just put this in the fridge with the pork rinds and the cheese so nothing goes bad. And then I just use it later. That's just me wanting to make, waste not, want not. So now I just have to fight with this a little bit to get the last little bits out of here as much as I can. And I think my container's a little too small, but I'll make it work. You see what I'm saying? It has a little bit of cheese left in the bottom. So I'm going to put this back together. And then what I like to do too is, my mom brought these over last time she visited. It was a whole bucket she bought. They're kind of getting a little stale, but for this recipe, it doesn't really matter. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one step. I gotta put this attachment in so it'll break up all the pork rinds. So basically what I'm gonna end up doing is making like panko breadcrumbs out of it. So I'm gonna pour all this in the hopper. And then, I feel I haven't had these yet. They're amazing. This is the Porkin' Good pork rinds, but it's the stupid hot flavor. And if you eat them by themselves, they can be a little too hot sometimes. But if you break them up and use them as a nacho or in your taco bowls or whatever, they're excellent. But they're really good too in these pork rind tortillas. And it's like little bits and pieces left over, and I like to add the flavor to it too. So I'm adding these in here too. Come on, quit fighting with me. And then like this whole bag of the pork rinds. I have a bad habit too when I open these with the bag pouring out on me, tearing. So this is going to be noisy for a second. So I may have to just blitz it a few times. And I think it's overfull. I'm going to have to do these in a couple different times to get this right. Oh, come on. You're smarter than the bucket, Heath. What are you doing? Yeah, I think there's too many here. I'm going to have to take some more out. We are professional grade. Alright, let me try it one more time. Okay, it's blitzed in. And now, I just do it on high. Like I was telling y'all, this ends up being about the same consistency of like a panko breadcrumbs. And this ends up being like perfect. You can also use this to do like fried chicken or fried pork chops or do like chicken skins and whatnot too. It works perfect for that. So like I do, I just put it in a container and use my spoon to do the rest of it. I think a brush may have been better next time. And now we just go wash this. And that's all we can do on this part. Alright. So y'all know I can't do anything by myself. And every time we make this recipe, we do it together. And this is what the part that Shelly usually does. Take it away, baby.
So, the first step is you're going to put some mozzarella cheese and cream cheese together. Now, for the exact recipe, refer to that in the notes. And this recipe makes 8 small tortillas. So, keep that in mind. So, that's what I'm going to do is put these two together, kind of like a fathead dough, the start. And I'm going to put it in the microwave. And we'll just like on a fathead dough, you start at 30-second increments until it's nice and melted and able to really stir together. So we'll start there. So we'll see you after this gets all melted. So here's the consistency that you're looking for, where it's nice and pliable. Again, if it gets too cold, just pop it in the microwave for another 15 seconds or so. So once it's nice and melted and pliable, still hot, you're going to add your pork rind crumbles, like that. And then you just start stirring that in till it's well combined. And this is what will give the shape of the tortilla, and then plus give you that texture that it, like a corn tortilla would have. And I'm just going to sit here and combine it. Now, if your cheese gets too cold, just pop it in the microwave for 15 seconds or so to continue combining it.
Now, at our HEB, we find this one brand. I can't remember who makes it, but they call it a mixta tortilla. And it's a mixture of corn and flour. And these turn out about that same texture, I find. So you just get that really, really mixed up.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Okay.
Okay, so now this is about how it should look after that's mixed in. Well mixed. I did put mine in for like another 15 seconds, because sometimes it does get a little hard. And then you're just going to use 1 egg.
Super egg.
There we go. I like to kind of do that. And then you'll just incorporate that. And that'll just act as a little more of a binder, so that it's not just the cheese and pork rinds. Alright, so I'm just going to mix this till it's all well combined, and then we'll show you what we do from here. Okay, it's nice and combined. And now what I'm going to do is split this into 8 approximately equal portions, and then put them into little balls. Balls!
So since we always make these, like always make them, I have a bag full of parchment paper already basically cut to size that I save to keep in my crisper drawer. So anytime I want to make these, I already have it already set up. So now we're going to roll those balls out, and the reason why I'm stopping is because we need these for when she makes the balls. We're going to stack them up on there. Alright, I'll show you on that next.
Okay, so I'm getting these into 8 equal portions about. I might have made them a little too big. You could weigh them out, I guess, if you want to be really particular, but I'll just try to do everything by sight. And so I'm going to roll these out into little balls. We do balls because it's, we're going to use a tortilla press. And so you want, for a tortilla press, them to be in balls. And so that's what I'm doing right now, is just forming these into little balls. I'm going to see how many times I can say balls. And then we'll show you how you then press them out.
So in that little kit I was telling you about, I keep in my fridge at all times, I forgot to mention that I also keep an extra Ziploc that I've cut in half. So that whenever I put the press together like so, I can line this and then it helps keep the dough from sticking to the press. And what I like to do though is to put a piece of parchment paper down first. It helps me to pull it back off. So then I fold this over, try and get it as centered as possible, and then just press on it. I'll spin it, and I'll give it one more press. And that's the way we find that the best consistency for the thickness. And what I've been told is whenever you're making these at home, if you are making standard flour tortillas, that typically you roll those. But when you do corn tortillas, it's best to use a press. So that's why I've elected to try and do it this way. And usually we do it this way every single time with great results. So then I'll just pull this aside, I stack it, set it off, and move on to the next one. Now remember I told y'all tacos are life? I'm so serious that we bought our own tortilla holder. So let's go cook them.
Okay, so I got my black stone heated up. It's well greased. And what I do is each of these are on a parchment paper. So I just snap it with the parchment paper still on there because I use that to kind of pat it in there. And that'll start heating. And then as it heats up, then the parchment paper will help peel off. And just do that. So we'll lay all of these out. And we have 8 of them. So that's why we reuse the parchment paper, as they're basically already greased up, so it makes them even easier to pull off.
Now, a little pro tip, there's no actual timer on this. You just keep playing with the paper until it starts releasing, and it'll let you know when it's time to flip. And don't worry if you overcook them per se, you're just going to end up with a tostada, which is still fine to eat. We've done that several times.
Just be careful when you're peeling off because...
You know what we forgot to do? We forgot to bring a spatula out here with us.
Well, I'll get one. Usually what I do is you're supposed to let them go for like 30 seconds and then you flip them. So, let's see, that's still sticking. And sometimes you have to try at different angles. And, I mean, it's all cheese, basically, so you can always mash them if there's little holes or what have you. Or if there's still some sticky there, have it in there. It is hot. It's still hot. There we go. Right. And it will release. Some of them just take a little bit longer.
You just gotta develop chef hands.
I'm gonna go get the spatula. Okay. Alright, so we got all of that off. And then now as soon as you pull those off, they're basically ready to be flipped. Again, like 30 seconds. I think even in the recipe she says, you know, you're not going to do it for too long. Especially if you want soft ones. So a couple of them broke up. Sometimes that happens.
It is home cooking.
Just kind of mold it together there. Like this one kind of fell apart there. So we'll just do what we can to make it into a taco. And then basically by the time you get done flipping all 8, this one should be ready if you want soft. So I just put it in here on top of one of the papers and put another one on top.
This helps it keep from sticking to each other.
Yeah. Another one.
It seems like the hardest part of this recipe is just making the batter or the stuff together. Cooking them's the easiest part.
Yeah. And then you see how small they are. Some of them do have, you know, like little cracks or crevices, which, I mean, that's fine for me, you know. Mostly we just put meat in it. We don't put anything wet, but I don't know. I'm okay with it because I like it, you know, where there's little crispy parts.
And the size, they end up being about the size of like a street taco. You ever seen those before? And
sometimes what we do, because I don't always eat them, I like just meat on its own is fine, but Heath really likes them. So sometimes what we do is just take the batter, and instead of making 8, we just do 4 big ones.
Yeah.
So you could do that. Sometimes if you do that, though,
I'm a little extra.
Well, instead of using the tortilla press, it might be better to roll them out because they do get quite large. And then, of course, you can change how thick or thin you want them. So there's all 8. They're done. And so all we have to do now is go ahead and get them topped up.
We're going to go inside and build us some tacos.
Yeah.
We wanted something quick and easy, and I was really craving barbecue. So we drove through real fast and got some brisket from Rudy's. And then that's what we're going to use to make the tacos. Here we go.
All right, so we got a little bit of brisket on one. We got some sausage on one. Do a little bit of cheese.
Because you never do enough cheese.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, of course, our cream. However you want to top your tacos.
A little dollop.
Dollop of daisy. Okay.
And then, yeah, I told y'all I'm a carnivore, but I have to have my guacamole. So I'll be adding a little bit to mine. And that's basically it. That's how you do it. Let's do it. Excellent. Like I said, I can eat these every day. Sorry, a little mukbang for y'all.
So how is the texture and all?
The texture is perfect. And in my mind, it's not a perfect taco and not a perfect burger or whatever unless it's falling apart on you. I love these. Like I said, I can use these every day. Fat Boy approved. Thank y'all for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and most of all, subscribe. Share it with your friends and whatnot. See you on the next one. I gotta eat my taco.